Welcome, everybody, to day 2 of our awesome quick tour of the top AI tools. I'm Jim Peak, and you are awesome. And I'm so happy that you're here. We had so much fun yesterday, so let's get right into it. Yesterday, we started by just talking about how frustrating it can be to feel overwhelmed with everything we got going on in life, information coming at us nonstop. And we talked about how sometimes when we use AI, we'd get really weird results. And they just didn't really do the trick for us. So we also talked a little bit about, I told you my story, how I always wanted to be an author, but I couldn't seem to break through. I had some discouraging but well-intended advice from people saying you couldn't do it, but I pushed hard, still struggle. So I turned to photography and started a whole new adventure. And that really blossomed when a friend showed me the internet. That was just like unbelievable breakthrough, a new technology, learned some new skills, and actually ended up becoming a published author. It was really, really a dream come true, and it just led to more and more fun and success of all sorts. It did have its challenges throughout the time. And after that initial success with the business, I did have some years where it was just very difficult until AI came along. And AI has totally reopened things up for me and reignited my hope, my total understanding and confidence that I can do it. So, who can relate to that? Raise your hand if you're like, yeah, I want a little bit of that feeling of I can do it. I just want that sense of, please let me feel like I can surf this wave. Awesome. So then we talked yesterday about my 3-step process. The first one was, if you remember it, it's 3 steps, so it's easy to remember. The first one is watch your steps, watch your process. And that means just really getting to know what in your business or personal life is something that is a process that you would like to offload to AI if possible. You want to do that before you go chasing all the shiny tools. But the second step is then to go ahead and decide which 2 tools. Maybe you want 1 to start, maybe you want 4, but I recommend something around just choose 2 tools to focus on. And the whole point of that is don't get tempted into believing you have to chase after every shining object, because there are way too many shiny objects in this world of AI. And they're coming out all the time. So just choose 2 for the time being. And then the third part is to learn to prompt like a rock star. We also then went into the difference between ChatGPT and Perplexity. And the biggest difference being that Perplexity offers you all of these sources that you could follow up with later. And, it's more of a research tool. And a lot of people just really find it more intuitive. It uses the DeepSeek technology, which is sweeping, unbelievably changing the landscape as we speak. We live in a very exciting time where 1 minute Google is king of the world. The next minute, ChatGPT and OpenAI are totally changing the landscape. Then I showed you Midjourney, and we quickly went through some image making possibilities with Midjourney. And you could do all sorts of things from paper art to felt yarn to creating a logo. And I showed you how you could go to Ideogram as another alternative that often does words and letters far, far better than DALL-E, which is in ChatGPT, or Midjourney or other image generating tools. And I gave you a little preview that you can also put in your own likeness and change the background with AI. So we're going to talk about that today. Who's excited about learning how to do that today? Okay, awesome. And I'll leave this tab up, and then we talked a little bit about Suno, and we made a song that we liked. We made a song, and I gave you optional homework to make the song on your own. Who here, by the way, you give me a thumbs up or mention in the chat if you made a song with Suno. Yeah, it does sound like that, doesn't it? Alicia Keys. And who put in the chat or raise your hand if instead you made a social post, and you went and you made some text, maybe you put some visuals together. Awesome, Marie, you made a couple. Fantastic. And who here did both? Raise your double hands if you went wild and you made a song and you did a social post. You're on fire. So I had some interesting questions about Suno that I want to get to. But first, I'll wrap up the recap here. We talked about Napkin, and I showed you how you could add visuals to any text block that you have using Napkin. I'll go ahead and sign back into this. It's very proactive on signing me out. Just to give you a reminder of what you could do with Napkin, you have a long outline maybe, and you just paste it in, and then you select an area, and it will create a really cool graphic. Since this is taking a little bit of time, we'll just come back to it. And then I shared with you how after using a tool like RunwayML, which we'll also talk about today, you could create a short little video segment and then take that video into an awesome tool like Canva, another one we really talked a lot about. And then you could add music that you created in Suno. And we didn't get to hear the sound of this last time. Ben posted a link to it, so maybe some of you did, but let's see if we can hear it now. This is so weird because it was playing for me before, but it's not playing now. So we'll have to figure out what the weird things of internet fun are about that causes something weird going on. Maybe I'm pushing the limits of my memory, but either way, if you check the link out, and I'll put it in a follow-up that we can check this out. It's really, really cool. And so we have now today some fun things that we're going to really quickly go through. And then I want to share with you an opportunity to continue with me. Is that okay if we take the last 15 minutes at the end for me to just share with you an opportunity if you so desire? Thank you. Awesome. So some of the questions that I got last night, and thank you guys for giving me feedback and sending in emailed questions, really helps me to understand exactly where I need to explain further or more in depth. One question had to do with Suno, where some were going in and they were saying, I had this great poem that my daughter wrote, or I worked with ChatGPT to create, but I couldn't put it in here. The trick with that is to look for this little custom button up here. Click the custom button, and then you can enter in the full lyrics of your choice instead of having Suno make up its own lyrics. Good on that? Thumbs up? Okay. Does that make sense, Lily? And go ahead and unmute. I'll ask you to unmute. Go ahead.
I did manage to enter the lyrics in the box, but when I click the create or whatever, it still come up with the songs and nothing to do with me or my lyric.
That is really interesting. So, and you know how you see if I turn this button off, there still is a box here that says song description. Are you sure that there were two boxes? Okay.
I'm sure because you taught us you must click button.
By the way, you weren't the only one.
I'll try again today.
Yeah, other people emailed me with that similar question. When I post this in there, though, in my past, it has been really, really good about keeping it true to it. One other thing is, if you click this button and just do instrumental, then it really will just make an instrumental song with no lyrics. But yeah, try it again. Let me know how it goes. One other question that people had about Suno, I really wish that I could say, like, make the song sound like Taylor Swift. And we all do. But that is something that they're not allowing. due to copyright. The artists are saying, no way. So there's a copyright block when you do that. And what I do is I just go back over to ChatGPT and I say, describe to me in depth the genre and all other qualities and elements about the Taylor Swift's XYZ song, Cardigan, or whatever. And then it will tell you a ChatGPT, and then you can use those. You can come back. So integrate these tools together for maximum effect. And sometimes you can get away with it. For example, I saw an example yesterday where the gentleman knew that if he put in Queen, it would not work.
Right.
But he put in Freddie Mercury instead. I too have done some more obscure artists, and it does work. So go ahead and try it. Try different things and see what works to get a sound that is like what you're doing. You have to think about whether it's what you really want. Do you really want to copy this one person's style, or just kind of have some suggestion of it and be happily surprised with something new that comes out? So that's Suno. And I also had a question about what AI replaces. What processes are going to be replaced by AI? And all I can say is I am blown away by what it does. Everyone has been expecting for decades that AI would just come for the simple, boring things. It came for language and music first, and art. These are like completely sophisticated things. So, in my experience so far, I have not come across much that doesn't do it, that doesn't get affected by it. Gardening and planting tulips, yeah, maybe. Giving somebody a nice back rub, yeah, maybe, for the time being. But I would look at everything as fair game because I'm coming across everything. I can make a website in seconds. I made a website in minutes this morning and I was delighted. You could make logos. We talked about that. Obviously, you can write emails. You could summarize long emails or long books, PDFs that people send you, well-intentioned, but you're like, I don't have the time to read this whole Bible-length book. So you could take things and summarize them. If you really are into personal development and you really love to constantly grow, you like to read, whatever, if you like to do stuff to improve yourself, to grow, AI completely enhances this endeavor. So much so that I have a whole mini webinar on just enhancing your learning process because it blows my mind how much you can help with that. But I would say anything and everything is fair game. Awesome. So look at that. Different things to do. Okay. Oh, here's my napkin that we were talking about before. So if I come here and demonstrate and just click on the little arrow here, it's creating a little graphic right as we speak that we can use in this. This looks a little bit like I did yesterday. So I could come and change the style and let's say a lighthouse. I like a lighthouse. And then I pick that one and I go and I further refine the style. And I can just keep this in the presentation like that, or I can grab all this material, highlight everything, and export it as its graphic that I've now downloaded to my downloads folder that I can put into something else like a PowerPoint or a Google Slides if I want. Isn't this cool? Who likes napkin.ai? Yes. Awesome. So we have these wonderful tools. I want to just touch base on this. We don't have enough time to really dive in deep, but I want you to know about it. This is my Rockstar prompting formula. And I can send you this one page at the end, and I have one other one page that I want to share with you that I'll tell you about at the end of the session. So stay tuned for the next 40 minutes. Rockstar, if you want this as a handout, I will send it to you later. Go ahead and put it in the chat. It starts with R, role. Who are you going to be? Who are you going to tell ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of the AI tool who you want it to be? Do you want it to be a certain role, the business master of the world, somebody who really knows business? Or do you want to say a specific name? Be Keith Cunningham. Whatever you do, decide on the role that you want it to do. And usually you start with that. O stands for options. You say, instead of saying, give me one thing, say, give me three. I'm constantly saying, give me a dozen or give me 100. There's lots of possibilities of what you can do on the O, and you ask for multiple options. And then C feels like the opposite, but it's the C for constrain. You say, give it to me in just 100 words, please. I don't have time to read pages. Give me something in 700 characters. Constrain the results. K stands for two things. Keep it simple. Don't necessarily make your first prompt be a novel length thing with all these different variables. Sometimes AI can really handle that. But while you're getting going, just start with something simple, a first step. And then the K also stands for keep swimming. I love the movies by Pixar, and Finding Nemo is one of my favorites. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Persistence is absolutely key when it comes to AI. It's one of the three components of adaptability, along with flexibility. You want to have persistence. You want to have an open-mindedness so that you can move forward with being persistent is a requirement. So if you're not getting the results that you want, try again. And if you're spending too much time that day on it and it's still not working, come back the next day. I found so many times that when I come back just the next day, all of a sudden it's like magic. It worked. And then the S stands for be specific. You just want one thing and you want to be exact. You don't want to say, give me something about masculinity. You want to be very specific. Write me a blog post about decisiveness and how clarity and decisiveness and being on purpose are three great qualities of masculinity. T stands for tone. Do you want the answer to be fun and friendly? Or do you need it to be professional because you're reaching out in a formal professional manner? A stands for who is this for? The audience. What's the audience that you really intend to reach? Help me generate something for photography enthusiasts or for people who are interested in AI. Maybe write this for business owners that need help overcoming the deluge of emails that are filling up their inbox. And then the R is one of my favorites. Definitely write this down. At the end of your prompt, simply say, reflect on this prompt before executing and ask me any clarifying questions so that we can get the most outstanding results. ChatGPT loves that. And I love the results that I get with that. It'll often just give you the answer because it doesn't need anything. But if it does, it will give you 3 to 5 questions and you can just go, 1, write your answer, 2, write your answer, and give it what it needs. Awesome. So that's the Rockstar framework. And I like to get this into our system with some physical movements. So for the R, imagine you're putting on a hat because we all wear different hats, different roles. So that's the R. The O stands for options. So you hold up 3 options. And the C, you just grab those because you're constraining the results that you get. K stands for just keep swimming, and keep it simple. And the S stands for specific. So you use just one finger, specific. And the tone is like a smile, tone. And the audience is one of my favorites. The movement for that to remember is just, like you're presenting to all your people and you're the regal queen or king and you're presenting. So to your audience. And then the R before reflecting is like a little hand mirror. You just go, okay, reflect. So if you practice that a few times, you'll get it into your memory. There you have it, Rockstar framework. Now you know. So let's take a look at one of our awesome AI tools. And let's go back to this tab on Ideogram. Okay, so I have a question for you. Who here, either raising your hand or in the chat, who here would love to make a vision board? Raise your hand. Okay, good. I got lots of people. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, great. Put in the chat, what's one thing that you would like to have a visual for on your vision board. One of your dreams. You'd like to have your image and likeness, and you'd like to have this be the thing that surrounds you. And I know this takes some creative thoughts. Okay, great. Athena says dream home. That's exactly the kind of thing. Magician. I love it. And any others, just keep them coming. And we're going to play around here. And I went and I acted like a bit of a stalker before this. And I went to a few of your Facebook profiles and I got some pictures so we could play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in Ideogram how we can work with this thing of adding our own likeness, like we see here. How we have Ben here, me, down here, my family. So I'm going to go here to Ideogram. Now, here's a caveat. This is only for the level of Ideogram that you pay for. You can try out Ideogram and do all sorts of fun stuff with it. I think they give you a certain number of images to start. You can download as a JPEG, but not a PNG. There are some restrictions like that. When you love it as much as I do, and you say, okay, this is one of my 2 tools, then you'll want to just invest in a small monthly fee. Real quick tip, only go for the monthly fees because you don't know what's going to change in a few months. Even though you might save 15 to 20% by doing an annual, that's just my recommendation. Go for the monthly. And I'm going to go here to start a new canvas. I'm going to go here to a totally new one. And I have a blank canvas. And I'm going to go to upload. And I'm going to just pick a photo. And I see here that we have a bunch, and I captured some from our previous meeting, but they're very small. So I think that they won't have high enough resolution for us to have a really fun result. I saw that we had Lena Marie, awesome. Claudia, way to go. Fantastic. Okay, let's just try this out with Agnieszka. Agnieszka, I want to get your permission first. You came with this photo. Do you see it? Okay, awesome. So cute. Way to go. Thank you for sharing. So I could take this photo and I want to zoom out a little bit, see what we're working with. And I just want to mask around it. Now, this is the part that I said yesterday that for those of you who are not total irrational fans of photography and have spent hours, if not decades, in Photoshop, it's a little tricky, but this is way easier than it is in Photoshop. If I just use this brush and come here and just try to go around this edge, what I'm masking is going to go out. I can use the brush like I've done. I can use what's called the lasso tool. And I'm just working with a mouse on my desktop. So it's hard to move it around, but I can do this and then I can gather each part. I go back and forth between the tools that I like, but you can see that it takes a little bit. And here's the trick. Don't do long movements. Just do short ones. So in case you mess up, you can undo and not have a whole bunch of work to redo. But you see how careful I'm having to be? I'm trying to get through here. And I first focus on these edges. And it doesn't have a whole lot of background, I'm realizing now. But we will still be able to play with it. Okay, we got this going. Okay, and I see how I'm stopping and lifting up my mouse button every once in a while. Because then, if I mess up, say I do this, that's too much. I can just do a Control Z and undo it. And instead, what I want to do there now is go back to this brush tool and make it much smaller and maybe make the size bigger so I can go in and be precise. Now, this is a perfect example, though, of imperfect action is okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. You see there's a little white space here. I think it'll be all right. It generally does a pretty good job, and I'll show you how we can make sure if it doesn't do all right. How is everybody doing so far? Is this freaking anybody out? Is this
No.
okay? Good. Thumbs up. Good. So it just takes a little bit of time, and the more we can just get rid of the little white in the background, we're fine. Maybe a little bit more here so it doesn't show as a white glow later. And then I have all these other areas. So I can just really quickly now come in here and do a big circle for that, making sure that it doesn't go into my subject. I don't worry about the outer edges, and I've masked it. Now we're ready. So Agnista said, amazing holiday destination at the sea. So I'm going to go to the next button and I'm going to just paste that in. Amazing holiday destination at the sea, and click magic fill. And it'll take a few moments to do it. Now, here's one other trick that I do. I'm going to go ahead and start this up now, where I start a new tab with Ideogram. I open this up just because I find it to be easier. And you can see right now it's working on these here as well. It's got the original and these four. And I go back to my tab here with Ideogram to see what it is doing. It didn't really do a good job. Something totally weird and different. It didn't do good. So this is excellent because it shows what I often do. If this is the case, I just click the undo button down here and it comes back to the way it was normal. And then I go back up to the magic fill and I say over here, load previous mask. Then I have to go do it all again. And then I can click next and I can say something like ocean, blue skies, clouds, and waves, maybe ocean waves. And that might be asking too much of it because of the small real estate in the background, but we can play with it and see what it does. And you can see in my work here, when I go back through my creations, you can see that I often do this. There's a lot of different attempts. Again, it goes back to persistence. The more we can try different things, we're going to get different results. And sometimes they're just way off and you just have to keep trying. And sometimes the words aren't exactly one. Look how many times I had to try for that Christmas card. But here's one that I really love. I have this printed off right next to me because my wife's a screenwriter. So dreaming of getting an Oscar, that's exactly what I want. Coming back here, that's the kind of vision board material that I want. So I'm going to make a whole bunch of images of these and put them together in my vision board. And let's see if it did anything here. I'm still working on it. And that's a little bit better. So we could still keep playing with it, but that gives us an idea. Any questions? Let's see. I see Peter. Can you make the image higher so you have more real estate? Yeah, that's a very good idea. I might put this into Canva and then change the image to make it bigger. In Canva, I find it easier to increase the canvas size. Having said that, that's a great question for me to put on my to-do list. What can come later? Yeah, excellent. That's Ideogram. Any other questions about it? I was going to do more, but I think we're running out of time because I want to show you some more stuff. Everybody good to go look at video? All right, thumbs up for video. So now you have Ideogram and you can give it a shot. If you like, what I would do is I would go to Ideogram and play with the free version. And if you find it intuitive and fun, then you can consider, yes, I really want to use this for my vision board. I find it absolutely delightful and fun. Yeah. Yes, can you access your camera roll to get the photos for it? For those of you who really like photography, I use Google Photos and they back up my photos on my camera roll. This is on my smartphone, which I have to admit is what I use 99% of the time now. If you use a digital SLR, you get your images into your system the way you like. But I use Google Photos. You can also use Dropbox or something like that. But I find it really easy to have them backed up. And then I can access them on my desktop later. I find it to be not great on a smaller device. So I get things to my computer as quickly as possible. There we go. Okay. So let's take a look at video here, because many of you said you really wanted to learn video as well. And this is RunwayML. There are many different video programs where you can see in their little samples that they're going through that it's pretty darn awesome. And you can see the piano playing, the animation that I got out of that paper art. But let's just quickly start a new session and just go test for friends. And try this out. I'm going to add an image myself so that we can see what it does to animate it. Let's just take this crazy happy one here. And what should we do to this image? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What would you like to see these characters do? We could do anything. First, we want to just decide what area we want to do, and we'll just pick this area. And yeah, let's try that. Let's try making them jump, dance, sing, whatever. We'll see. So make these three dance. Okay. This is totally an experiment. And this is why I love to do it. So while that's processing, might take a moment. I'm going to just quickly remind you of Descript. I'm so glad that I recorded a video yesterday because we are running out of time. And so if you want to learn how to edit videos super fast, go to Descript and watch that video that I recorded for you. It'll get you on board with Descript for video editing. I learned this morning that I could go to publish, and instead of sending every video to YouTube, I could choose web link, and Descript will host the video on its own and give me great analytics for when people come watch the video. So that's exciting for a tech nerd like me. It's always been hard to find where can I host the video where, like YouTube, it won't show all the YouTube ads. And Renee, I see, said, what app was that? Yeah, RunwayML. Awesome. So let's go back and see what it's done. Okay, let's give it a shot here. That's pretty darn good. Ah, that's a success. You know, there's a little bit of a weird like anti-gravity thing going on at the top of their jump, but that's pretty cool. Can you believe it? When you actually take a moment to think about what's going on here and the potential that you have for animating any image that you love. It could be a photorealistic image. If I go back through my old projects here and I look at this one here, this candle, it's a photorealistic image. Yes, I did make it with Midjourney, but look at what it's done. You could bring some of your photos to life. If you have a favorite photo from the past that means so much to you, why not make a little image out of it and play with this for fun? If you have a whole bunch of family photos, can you imagine the gift that you could give your family if you just say, put 10 of those together and have 10-second segments and then put a song to it from Suno? How much connection will you develop with that loved one? Whether it's one of your children or maybe a parent, you can really develop. This could be a gift that you give people all the time. Thank you. We have video with RunwayML. You could also use Sora. You can do all sorts of fun other things. Okay, and that's a great question too, Julia. How do you connect the 10-second videos into one? You download this element and you upload it into Canva. And then you take another one and you upload it into Canva, and you can put them one after the other. That is perfectly fine to do. Just put a bunch together, and it's like making a slideshow, but out of videos. And the other thing is, there is a tool that will do all that for you, and it's called InVideo, and I'll go more in depth into it in my future teachings. So we got video creation, we got video editing. We talked about the Rockstar framework, and we talked about how to mask an ideogram so that you could have an image that you really want to keep. One other quick thing that I want to share with you before I share this opportunity with you that I'm so excited about is NotebookLM. Many of you who were at my 3-day workshop were blown away by Google's NotebookLM. And this is such a fantastic tool. My brother in particular got so excited by this He has been a lifelong learner. He's so passionate about all these topics. I can remember when I was a little kid, he'd be telling me about weather and the prevailing westerlies. And I'd just be like, Johnny, please stop teaching me about the weather. But he just was so passionate about it that when he learned this, he quickly went and he has over 60 notebook LMs now, ranging from topics about abstract mathematics to music theory to spirituality. And he does what I did. He puts in these source materials. You add these different sources. And so for this one, I just added the recordings of what we did in our 3-day workshop, like what we're doing now. We're recording this. I just took those recordings, put them in. I added a whole bunch of other documents that I used to prepare for the event. You can see all of these documents. I just made PDFs out of them and put them in here. And then in this particular program, you could chat with that author if you have that information. You could chat with your own work and get new ideas for new work. And you could go right here to this audio overview. And with one click, and sometimes the first time you do it, it might take several minutes to process it. But once you hear it, you'll understand why.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. Instead of like an article or a book,
Okay.
we're going to be diving into your notes on AI.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like we're peeking right into your thought process, which is
Oh, wow.
fascinating, by the way.
Yeah.
You've got this really cool mix of, practical ways to use AI,
No,
philosophical stuff, even some jokes sprinkled in there.
that's awesome.
It's really something.
I love that.
Yeah.
What really jumps out at me is how you connect AI to personal development.
So isn't that cool? What's happening here is they're taking in everything that you've done and quickly making a podcast with the two totally AI voices that have all these nuances in their speech. They say little jokes, they make innuendos, they do all sorts of funny things. And it's a wonderful way to hear back your work and get re-inspired. I can't tell you how often I do this, and then I just listen to it and go, oh, that would be a good blog. Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize I had that blind spot. And I come up with all these great insights and understandings. You could publish this if you wanted to, but you have to know that everybody else who's using NotebookLM has these same two voices. Now, there's another way around that you could put other voices to it with just a little bit more work. As it comes out of the box here, it's the same two voices. So you just want to be aware of that. But then keep in mind, 98% of the population has never even heard of NotebookLM. If you go around all your friends and family and tell them that you learned about AI in this great 2-day webinar, most of them are going to be like, what? It's not really mainstream yet. So even if you just share this podcast with others, you're going to be way ahead. So that's NotebookLM. You can also create a study guide. You can do an FAQ. But what I often do is I just come here to the chat and I just enter a prompt just like I would with ChatGPT, and I get tons of information. For example, here I'll just say, what is the R and Rockstar again? And see if it comes up with it as if I forget what I said. Oh, the R in Rockstar stands for reflect. And it describes it and says, here's some additional details. Asking the AI to reflect encourages it to better understand your needs. And then it has all these numbers that are little references to your source materials of where it's getting these answers. Is that cool or what? All right, so awesome. So the last tool I want to share with you, I'm going to do a hybrid thing here. This is Gamma, and it is a fantastic way to put together a presentation. And if it's all right with you, I'm just going to quickly, in about 8 minutes, tell you about my upcoming course, AI Mastery Formula. And so I've created this document in Gamma by just taking text and importing it in and saying, make a presentation. That gave me the rough draft of this, and then I edited it quite a bit, actually, and I changed Some of the photos, it offered photos, like I think I kept this one as the one it created, but I supplemented other photos into it. I'm going to go into spotlight mode, and that allows me just to quickly go through these different things. Can you imagine waking up tomorrow and feeling just, oh, wow. I suddenly realize I'm not overwhelmed like I was last week or last year. You can realize that you are feeling confident and you're actually leveraging AI like a master, and you're multiplying your productivity, and you're actually automating breakthrough after breakthrough. And imagine doing that in a community of awesome, like-minded enthusiasts just like you. No more are you going to feel uncertain and overwhelmed. No more are you going to feel that nagging fear that you're missing out on something. And no more are you going to be consistently producing what I call unproductive results, the ones with like 7 fingers on the hand, or the text that comes back and it doesn't sound like you at all. You're going to be beyond that. Can you imagine this time when you're actually having your passion back? Your inspiration is back. You're on fire and you're feeling like your time and your energy is renewed, and you're moving forward with total certainty, and maybe even you're building your business while you sleep. You're just on top of the world and you're more productive than you ever dreamed possible. That's the vision that I have for you. And it's becoming the hero of your own story, totally tech savvy. It's about amplifying your productivity beyond what you've ever thought. And it's about joining a supportive community. Now, there are 6 pillars in the AI Mastery Formula class that I have going on. And starting at the foundation, we have just knowing the tools, what we've been talking about, but in a much more in-depth way. And then once you have that foundation of knowing what tools are possible, so you know what tools to match up with the business processes that you need to replace, we're going to go in depth on the Rockstar prompting and really getting everything that you need from every prompt that you do. We're going to go forward to the supercharged content creation. If you want to make blog posts, if you want to write that book, if you want to get that YouTube channel really up and running with lots of comments and likes and engagement, then you're going to want to use AI in every possible way. The 4th module, we're going to talk about business growth, how to actually streamline the actual revenue making from your business, and being able to understand, what does my customer really need? Or how does my business compare to other businesses that are out there? And then we often get stuck in some kind of limiting belief like, I'm just not tech savvy. So we're going to talk about ways to overcome that and very quickly learn also how to use AI to further enhance our abilities. And then finally, the 6th module is all about automation so that you can just feel free. You can have more time to go on those oceanside holidays. We can have more time to take a walk with our family, more time to play with our puppy or our cat, because we really just are free from that sense of always having to work at it and the decision fatigue that comes along with it. You can do this at any time that you want. You have the flexible schedule, but I have found in the past that if I only have self-paced, I never get to it. Life just keeps coming at me. So I combine that with a structure where you get a weekly Zoom meeting. And I don't know about you, but when I know that the instructor is on the other end waiting for me, I know that I'm going to do the assignment. I'm going to do the work and get it done and actually learn the stuff. So we're going to be doing this in an exclusive mastermind, and I'm going to give you so many tips and tools and frameworks and templates. And I deeply believe in this learning by doing and sharing your work, getting expert feedback, and seeing real results that really encourage you. Of course, we didn't have a lot of time. This was a quick tour just to give you a first sense of what's possible to open up your perspective on all the possibilities of what's out there at this current stage, knowing that AI is just the dumbest that it's ever going to be. It's just going to get smarter and smarter and more powerful. And I like to think of it as, instead of artificial intelligence, it's awesome interactions. That's my acronym for it, because there's nothing artificial about it. And for me, intelligence is a deeply spiritual quality. So AI is awesome interaction. And we get to learn how to have those awesome interactions. That there's that proverb that says, I hear, I forget. I see, I remember, and I do, and I really understand. With this webinar, you get amazing bonuses. I'm going to share that NotebookLM so that you get the benefits of the AI productivity powerhouse. Of course, if you want to go to that, I'll include a free ticket to the AI productivity powerhouse weekend if you want both the notebook and the experience. It's a much more in-depth experience. An onboarding session, I'll give you my step-by-steps, what I call AI TM guides instead of ATM. It's your AI TM, where AI is helping you increase your revenue streams. And you're going to learn how to increase your learning potential. And you're going to get my 17 tips for really maximizing your results from Midjourney, as well as that mastermind. This is a limited time offer, so I do encourage you to jump on it as soon as possible. And imagine, just imagine, you are being the most inspiring you that you've ever been. Imagine that 1 year from now, you've written that book and you've used AI to promote it into a bestseller in your category. You're on fire. You've created that website. You have all the engagement from your social platforms because you're using all of the best tools, and you're launching your business with so much confidence, so much certainty. You don't have to do this alone. And I'd be happy to be your guide as you move forward. At the end of this, there's 6 weeks of the course. And at the end of that, you'll be certified as an AI master, which could help you in your career journey. So all of this, the online course, the personal onboarding, the bonuses, the productivity powerhouse. I'm also going to include a songwriting course so that you can get really heartfelt gifts for your loved ones, certification, the mastermind membership, a value of over $10,000. It's available to you for $19.97. I highly encourage you to go for joining me on this grand adventure this year. What's more, I want to make sure that you don't feel any fear about this whatsoever. I give a better than money back guarantee. If you're not absolutely thrilled, you can ask for a full refund within the first 7 days of the course. And what's more, you can keep all of the bonuses. You get to keep and walk away with all the bonuses that you've received. I only want people to be really, really happy. So that is the AI mastery formula. Any questions about it? Well, I get you a little link for that and post it. But I'm just delighted to have you here, delighted to be sharing this amazing journey with you. Here's the link if you'd like to join the course. I made a QR code. Who here has ever made a QR code? That's, yeah, good. For me, it was new and it was on my list to always do that. And I was able to do it. So I'm delighted. I mean, you know what? I made that in Canva. It turns out that in addition to all those other tools, I did a quick ChatGPT. Where can I make a QR code? And there are plenty of places. You can use Bitly or other online forms, but one I saw was Canva. And I go, oh, I have a membership at Canva. So I went there and there's a pre-done form. You just put in the URL and it makes this QR code. So I look forward to seeing you in the AI Mastery Formula. Feel free to stay on if you have any questions, if you have to go. I have just so enjoyed sharing these tools with you, and I look forward to seeing your amazing AI creations. Have fun. All right, more. How you doing?
Hi. A question about Gamma.
Yes.
Do you prefer, because I saw you present through Gamma, and I normally download it as a PowerPoint and throw it in Canva and edit it on Canva.
That is such a great question, and I do that too. The reason why I didn't do that today was because I discovered in many interactions with Canva over the past week that they have that spotlight feature. Rather than going in Google Slides or PowerPoint or Canva and making many copies of each slide and then deleting the different words so it flows, I just like that spotlight. So that's why I did it.
And you can edit everything on Gamma?
Yep, you can edit everything. I'll do some one way, and sometimes I'll put it into the other program, just like you do. Great question.
Thank you.
You rock.
I rock.
Those of you who are interested in joining me, the sale will go on until this time Friday morning. Oh, and I forgot, there's one other link. I'll follow up with an email about this, but I want to share with you. This is the web page that I made using AI this morning. And it was just really quick. Check it out and see what's possible in a matter of an hour or two. And this is just the beginning. If you want to share it with anyone, of course, please do. If you have anyone that you want to refer, I'm just delighted and honored to help out your friends and family with AI. And if you have any feedback for me, I'll also post the feedback link in a little follow-up post or email. But yeah, 2 days. Please join me. It'll be fantastic. I can't wait to see you. So any other questions? Yeah. Any other questions about, we talked about a lot. Yeah, Mary.
Yeah, see, incredible offer. Thank you so much. And just so much incredible knowledge.
Thank you.
It was really amazing. So much great content. You mentioned that there was a self-paced course and there was also access to things. And I was wondering, how long was the term of this offer?
Oh, that's great. By self-paced course, I mean that the videos are going to be something that you could watch at any time for 6 weeks. They will be doled out and you'll be able to get that and then come to this Zoom meeting, and then you'll have a year to, like, if life is happening at that time, you'll be able to revisit in the time that works for you. If you can make it, and the course starts February 25th. I forgot to mention that. If you can make it during the course, it'll be a little more beneficial because you'll be able to interact live during the Zoom meetings. You have a year to. Does that answer your question, Mary?
Okay, I think I understand. So February 25th is a 6-week course,
Yes.
1 module per week, and you can do it at your own pace. If you do it along with everyone else, then you have live Zoom calls to additionally support you. If not, you can take up to a year to do all of it on your own.
And watch the recordings of the Zoom calls. You'll get all that benefit if you like to just do it in your own time, or if life is happening in a way where you need that flexibility. I do it the other way with a little bit of structure because of what I said. I found that with that structure, that's, if you really want the results, that's the way to do it. It gives us that motivation to push those other things aside, like kids or pets or going to the grocery store. That stuff doesn't really, it's AI that matters. Awesome. Alice.
I'm all excited, but I have time restraints, day of week, time of day. Well, and Zoom is absolutely critical to me. I'm almost 80. I know nothing about AI. I love photography. I'd like to get into all this. I want to write a book and many other things that you offer, maybe not start a business. What time of the day will you offer it, and what day of the week?
I love that question. And you bring up a point that you get an added benefit. So I will really take what time of day and week would be great for you. Right now, we can create it together. You can put some thought into that, but it's very
Morning webinars are great. I'm on the Pacific Coast, so that aligns with you. But that I can almost always carve out morning time.
I agree. And morning also works because a lot of my friends are in Europe. And when I do it in the afternoon, they're like, it's 2 a.m. As much as I want to come, I can't. So it will definitely be at this morning time. What day of the week? It could be a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, maybe you can do a little survey and see how it works for most people.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
Great question, Alex. And I want to rock both you and Merrick. 1, 2. You rock, Alice and Merrick. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Great.
Great. Any other questions about the content that we shared yesterday or today? Or anything that you're trying to do? One other thing that comes to my mind that I'm super excited about that I just learned about yesterday are a couple of tools to greatly get my email inbox down. Who else are feeling, oh man, there's just too many emails? I learned about 2 tools that I'll share with you in the course so that we can overcome email inbox overwhelm. I'm so excited. All right, let's rock on out of here. I'll put some music on. Thank you so much for joining and your awesome, amazing energy, all the great questions and the enthusiasm. Love it. So here we go. A little bit of music to enjoy and wake it up. You guys really do rock.